Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea. I have been an Etsy seller for 7 years, and this is a space where I share everything I've learned, everything I am learning for beginners and experienced sellers, all the things I'm learning about Etsy. That this channel is where I share that. So today we are going to be talking about something kind of fun, my honest review of Etsy from the seller perspective. Like I said, I have been a seller for 7 years, and so I'm very familiar with the platform. We've done over 16,000 sales on the platform, and so definitely well versed on the Etsy platform as a whole. And I wanted to just talk about my personal review, my honest review of Etsy as a platform from the seller perspective. Okay, so jumping right in, the first thing I want to talk about are the good things about Etsy. So the pros. We're gonna do the pros first, and then we're gonna do the cons, and then I'm gonna give it my rating. If I was gonna rate Etsy on Yelp, how many stars would I give it? And yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. So first things first, the pros of selling on Etsy. I probably shouldn't lead with my favorite, biggest, best, most amazing thing about Etsy first, but I'm going to because it's just the biggest deal ever. And yeah, anyways. Okay, the biggest deal, the biggest thing about Etsy, the biggest pro, and the main reason why I love it is that it is a marketplace, and they are very good at attracting buyers to that marketplace. Etsy has branded itself, and they've done a very good job. I don't think anyone can deny that, though there are some critiques of it in the Etsy circles, but they've done a very, very good job of branding themselves as a good place to find small businesses and handmade items on the internet. They have curated a whole marketplace towards that, and because of that, they bring in billions of customers every single year, and that is by far the biggest advantage to selling on Etsy. It's the biggest pro. To be 100% honest with you, I literally feel like I could just hit stop on this video right now and be done recording, because that, in my opinion, is the end all be all of Etsy, is that they attract so many buyers into a place like people already know what they're to expect from Etsy, what they're gonna get from Etsy, and they are so good at that. And that is definitely where the bulk of my opinion, my rating, how I feel about Etsy comes from, is the fact that they draw in billions of customers, billions of warm buyers every year to the platform that are looking for exactly what I and you and other Etsy sellers sell. So I could literally just hit record, because that sums up like 85 or 90% of my opinion on Etsy, but we're going to keep going. The second really, really big pro of Etsy is that it has everything you need at a basic level to run your e-commerce business for an extremely low cost. So to start selling on Etsy, all it costs is 20 cents. That's like unheard of in this world. Everyone always talks about fees and stuff, and we're gonna talk about that later in the con section, but actually starting and the website fees are so crazy low. It's only 20 cents to actually get started on Etsy. And so I love it for that, and also that they have every single thing that you need basically to run your business. They have it on their platform. They have a way to list items, to get customers, to message customers, to ship your items. Oh my gosh, like so many things. They make it everything that you could need to do as an e-commerce business. You can keep coupons, all sorts of things on a basic level. Of course, it's not as robust as something that you pay for like Shopify or WooCommerce or ShipStation, something like that. But on a basic level, they have everything that you need to run your business. So you can absolutely be a fully functioning e-commerce business on Etsy alone and have no other platform, and that would be fine. And I really think that that is a massive underrated pro, because I think so many people switch to Shopify and then they're paying $29 a month, which is more expensive than Etsy. And of course, you're getting more robust features, but not, in my opinion, I think it's very underrated that Etsy still does have everything you need. So that is my second pro of Etsy. And all in all, I think that Etsy provides a really great platform for small business. I definitely think that they can claim themselves like a small business incubator of sorts, and they have a really great platform for small business owners. So that is kind of summed up my opinion on the pros of Etsy. Now let's move into the cons of Etsy. The first con, in my opinion, is the horror stories. We've all heard them. The fact that Etsy audited a shop because of a copyright issue and shut them down for 2 months, or that they sided with a buyer when they really should have sided with the seller. All of those sorts of things. We've definitely heard those stories. And to be 100% honest with you guys, that has not really been a concern from my shop ever. I think I've only had a couple cases open up against me, and both times Etsy sided with me, and I've never been audited. knock on wood. But see, that's the thing, is that I'm sitting here saying knock on wood. And so those stories, it is scary to hear them, because then you're constantly reminded that it's not your own shop, and Etsy something like that could happen. And that is just kind of scary. Not that it's been a concern for me, but I don't love that there's even the fear at all, I guess, because that's my income. It's my full-time income. And so I don't love that I don't feel completely in control, which obviously I can't always have no matter what. Instagram algorithms could change. A lot of stuff could change, but I just don't love that. So that is my first con, is that sometimes Etsy seems to like really do stuff that's questionable. It turns into horror stories, and then it kind of makes me worried for my own business, if that makes sense. So that's my first con for Etsy. The second con, I obviously have to mention the fees, but to be 100% honest with you guys, the fees, not that they don't bother me. Of course, I'd rather not pay 6.5% like anybody else in the world. I would rather not pay 6.5% than to have to pay 6.5%. I added an extra word in there. Anyways, I would obviously rather not, but I think of the fees on Etsy as my marketing budget, and because of that, it seems really, really low to me. We get so many sales from Etsy that we wouldn't have otherwise got, and so I'm more than happy to pay the 6.5%, but the fees are higher than my Shopify site, and so if someone was going to purchase from me, no matter what, I would obviously prefer that they go to my Shopify site, but definitely the fees are a con. There's no doubt about it, but I do like to restructure the way I think about them so that I don't get frustrated, and that if you think about them as your marketing budget, it honestly sounds really low. The third and final con is a kind of broad one. There are definitely some features that I wish we had on Etsy that we don't have. After selling for over 7 years, I've kind of obviously had my way about the platform, and there are just some things that I wish I could do. A lot of features have been added, but I definitely wish there was a way to get like more robust analytics, which I think they're working on, but they're not accurate at all. I just know that from my own shop. So I definitely wish that there was that. And then I also really, really wish that we could opt out of offsite ads. That is for sure a thing that we can't do. Some shops can, but we can't. And so I wish that was a possibility. And just there's always things like that popping up, like little features. I'm like, oh, that would be really handy. So I do wish to see some features. In that same vein, I really do think that Etsy HQ, like Etsy in Brooklyn, the company of Etsy, could have a much better relationship with their sellers. I do think that they could do a better job at representing their sellers and communicating with them. As far as I know, as an Etsy seller that obviously has a vested interest in Etsy, I don't know of a team where they're accurately hearing sellers' voices. So I do wish that was the case. Most of the changes that they make seem to be customer focused, which is totally fine. Obviously, I need customers. And again, that's my number one pro about Etsy, is that they bring in customers. So that's a really big deal. But sometimes I do wish that there was some seller consideration whenever it comes to adding new features and all of those sorts of things. I would love to see something like a team of sellers, people that are daily using the platform to build their business. Like, I use the platform every single day, more than a customer would for sure. I also am a customer on the platform a lot. And so I would just love to see something where those voices are being heard. Yeah, I would really like that. I don't want to act like this is a huge deal or that I feel like Etsy owes me more, but if I'm talking about my honest review of Etsy, I would really, really like to see sellers represented better than they are currently. All in all, if I was gonna go review Etsy on Yelp, I was gonna go give selling on Etsy a review, I would give it 4.6 stars. I can't give it 5 and I can't give it 4 because I don't think 4 would be enough if I'm being 100% honest with you. And I can't, because of the 5 thing, I can't ignore some of the improvements that I wish were made, but I also majorly can't ignore the amount of customers they have brought in my business and what they have done for my business specifically. And so obviously that's going to weigh into my personal opinion, my honest review of Etsy as a seller. And so all in all, I would give it 4.6 stars. I would definitely still recommend selling on Etsy, and obviously that's a very high review. Yeah, so I guess that would be a 8 out of 10. But that's even higher. High review, okay? That's a really high review. So I definitely have high praises for Etsy. There's just a few things I really wish I could see improvement on. I would really love to know, if you sell on Etsy, what your Yelp rating would be. Mine's 4.6. What would yours be? Let me know in the comments. If you are an Etsy seller and you are trying to grow your business, that is usually what we talk about around here. So definitely feel free to hang out and subscribe. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys would rate Etsy in the comments.